Hello. This video is going to be very different from my usual videos. This video isn't very planned out, and I actually wasn't even planning the film list today, but I had some extra time, so I figured I might as well try to make another batch video for after I have the baby. So here we are. We're going to be trying to make some art without much of a plan. The one thing I do know is that I want to use paint, so that's why we have these mini canvases here. And since I did know I wanted to use paint, I did prep my art supplies. So I have this cup of water. I also have some paint brushes, as well as some paint palettes and color pencils to do some sketching with. And of course we have all of the paint. One side is acrylic paint and one side is gouache paint. I feel like I want to use gouache today. So before we jump into making a piece, I want to pick out some colors because what colors I use will kind of dictate what I draw. Today was a really nice day outside and I'm feeling really springy. So maybe we could try to pick some like spring colors. So let's see. This blue is kind of nice. Maybe this along with like a yellow. Ooh, this is bumblebee yellow. That sounds super springy. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, okay, so it's kind of a goldeny yellow. I feel like that could pair nicely with the blue. Whoa, I am so sorry. I just hit you. I need to keep moving. I'm starting to plan too much. But like, I don't want to confuse like not planning with like being careless, if that makes sense. Let's see, what would look nice with the yellow and the blue? How about like a green color? I feel like this dark green could provide some nice contrast. So here are the three main colors I think I'm gonna use. But I'm also gonna want some white and maybe like a skin tone color since I'm probably gonna be painting a character. So here are the colors we're gonna be using and I guess we'll start sketching. I'm a little nervous. So here we have our canvas and actually I should put down some paper to protect my workspace. I have this like decorative paper that I've had for years and I would always use it for filming, but it's gotten very dirty so I only use it to protect my workspace now. So I grabbed a few different colors. I tend to like to sketch with more warm colors. I might go with this pinky one. A part of me doesn't want to sketch directly on the canvas. Like I want to do some thumbnail sketches. But at the same time, I'm trying to be spontaneous and like not overthink it. So I don't know what to do. Let's just start drawing a circle. Okay, so we have a circle and I need to turn it into something. Maybe I could draw a character with like some flowers. I feel like I can't talk while I'm drawing because drawing on the canvas is kind of noisy. Also, if this turns out horribly, it's okay. We're trying something new. So I'm trying to keep this really low pressure and trying to not worry about it turning out super good. Do I want to make her an elf? I feel like that could be kind of cute. Sometimes I just like making my characters be elves. I feel like their ears are always really fun to draw. Also, I don't know if I want to place the ears right here. I should have drawn some of the facial features first because how I place the ears kind of depends on how I place the facial features. Let's see. I wonder how well this will erase. Thankfully, it seems to be erasing pretty well. I feel like I want to draw her eyes closed, mostly because I feel like that'll be easier. Let's see, how is this looking? Sometimes it's a little hard for me to tell what a sketch looks like when it's flat on the table because of the perspective, so I have to like turn it up so that I can see it. I used to always be really confused when I was young because I would draw my pictures flat on the table. And then when I'd be all done, I would lift my picture up and then all of a sudden the proportions looked like longer or kind of funky. But then I eventually learned that it's because of the perspective of how I'm viewing the picture. So I guess I'll draw her neck in here. I feel like I want to have her holding a bunch of flowers, but I'm not totally sure. I don't know if I want to do a bunch of flowers or just like a couple. I guess let's start sketching some flowers. I feel like I should look up a reference, but a part of me doesn't want to look up references because I'm trying to be more spontaneous. So I don't know, let's just start sketching some flowers and see what happens. Let's try to not overthink things. Let's not fear the art. That's the thing, I feel like I do a lot of things like looking up references and planning because of like, I don't know if fear is the right word, but I guess like the anxiety of like the picture not turning out good. And I feel like if I plan, it can like turn out better. I don't know if I like the 4 petals. I feel like I want it to be 5. Okay, let's start over. Also, I feel like I should zoom in so all of you can see better. Let's see, we'll have another leaf right here. Maybe one coming off like that. And then maybe we'll have like a slightly turned flower right here. I'm not really liking this one. So now we will draw her hair. I'm not sure what hairstyle I want to go with. Although I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds recently, and my character has this hairstyle where it has like these swoopy bangs in the front. And I feel like it looks really pretty, so I might try drawing a similar hairstyle. My husband's a big Monster Hunter fan, and so he was playing the game a lot, and he has beaten the game now. Well, kind of. He's like on to like the second part of it. And I thought it seemed kind of fun, especially the character making part. They have so many different customization options. I also really like a lot of the different characters in the game. I think I like Alma the most. She's really cute. So now I'm gonna go around and erase any of my sketch that I feel like I don't need. And then we should be able to jump into painting, which is kind of scary. It's been a really long time since I've painted with gouache. So we will see how this goes. That's kind of another reason I'm doing this video spontaneously, is because I want to work with gouache, but like I always overthink it, and so I never end up working with it. So we are now ready for paint. So I will move this over here and we will start prepping my paint colors. So I'm gonna start by putting some blue in here. And I'm actually gonna water this blue down to use as a wash. I want it to be fairly watery. That is kind of the nice part about gouache, is that you can use it more like a watercolor if you want to. So I'm gonna take one of my slightly larger brushes and start going around and adding the blue. I want to keep this fairly light. I do really like using water brush pens because it does allow you to just add water directly to the picture if you want. But I also always find the brushes to be a bit easier to clean because you can make water come out of the brush. And so the brush kind of cleans itself. Oh, I just put a lot of paint. I will try to work this out, but it's looking kind of dark at the moment and I'm nervous. If I need to, I can dab up the paint. I'm gonna try to push it down this way. So here's our wash of blue, and I'm gonna let this dry and we will start mixing up some other colors. I feel like I wanna try to get the skin in place. I might start out more watery and then we'll work our way to being more opaque. I'm gonna add some white to this. Ooh, ew, that was really oily. Sometimes the paint will separate inside the tubes. And yeah, that one had a lot of oil. Let me actually use my palette knife for this. And then I may scoop some of this color onto here to water down. Like I said, I'm trying to make mine more watery at the moment. And then maybe we'll work up to being more opaque. Although this is actually still decently opaque. And I'm not feeling too bad about it, so maybe we'll just keep going with this. Like I said, I wanted to use gouache, and it can be easy to fall into using gouache like watercolor, but I do want to use it more as like a paint compared to just watercolor. I'm trying my best to not cover up my sketch. That is the tricky part about paint. So right now I'm trying to just get more of the flat colors in place. And I'll worry more about shading later on. I'm not totally sure how much shading I'll add. We'll kind of see. Like I said, we're going in with very little plans. So we are majorly winging a lot of this. Let's see, for her outfit, I feel like I want to use some blue straight from the tube to make it be really like darker, I suppose. I will add a bit of water to it. With gouache, a lot of times you want it to be where it like doesn't quite hold its shape, like it kind of like lays flat and doesn't keep the brush strokes. I mean, you of course can do that if you want to, but a lot of times you want it to kind of melt into itself, if that makes sense. And I don't know why I keep working on the right first. I should be working on the left first. It makes it easier so you don't put your hand into the paint. Okay, so now for the hair, like I said, I want to maybe make her be like a really light blonde. I feel like she's gonna be giving Zelda vibes. Okie dokie. Now we will start painting in the hair. I'm not sure how to start. I feel like I could add a little bit more water to this paint. Also, what do you think of these kind of art videos where I'm drawing kind of more in real time? And you're getting to watch the process without me just doing like voiceover. I'm giving live commentary. If it's a format that a lot of you like, I can maybe try to do more videos like this. I thought that maybe doing live commentary would help me be more spontaneous or keep moving and not think too much, because I do have like the camera rolling and my mic going, and so it helps me to keep moving compared to like overthinking because usually I can just kind of like stop and like think for a little while, whereas I feel like doing it like this encourages me to keep moving. I feel like I want to lighten up the background. It feels like kind of stormy and I don't know if I like it. I feel like maybe I'll want to grab a more like turquoisey blue. And for like cleaning up the lines later on, I'm debating if I'll use paint or if I'll try to use like color pencils or maybe like paint pens. I don't totally know how I want to do like the line work for this picture. And I kind of want to paint the underside of her hair a different color, just help me keep these like front strands separate. It's not a major color difference at the moment, but it's enough that like future me will be able to like tell the difference between the front strands and the back part of the hair. And I'll try to add a bit more variation when I go into adding shading. Okay, so lastly we will paint in the base colors for the flowers. And for this I'm just going to use the yellow from the tube. Okay, and we will paint in the base colors for the flowers. This will be a little tricky because my flowers will become very much just like blobby flowers and I won't be able to see my sketch very much, but hopefully this will turn out okay. We are in uncharted waters. Maybe I'll try to use some of my lighter yellow for some of the flowers just to keep it so I can tell the difference between like this top flower here and the lower flower, because or else things are gonna get really complicated. So I do apologize for kind of jumping ahead in the footage here. My camera battery died. And I also kind of wanted to take a break, but I wanted to finish the leaves. And so I did that while the camera wasn't recording. And then I did kind of a reset of my workspace, refilled my water with clean water. And I also grabbed a snack. I had a Pop-Tart and a bit of water. And I also found some colors that I want to use in addition to my base colors. I'm gonna kind of mix these into my colors so we can get more color variation. But before we go into shading the character, I feel like I want to fix the background. So I found a sky blue and I'm going to mix it with our other Sky blue. Wait, they're both sky blue? Oh, I actually don't know if I'll be able to use this one. It's kind of dry and really hard. Okay, I might have to find a different one. Okay, so the cerulean blue might work. Also, using a palette knife to mix your paint is super helpful because if you just use your paintbrush, a lot of the paint gets like stuck into your paintbrush. And then a lot of times you have to either like wash off the paint or wipe off the paint, and then that's paint that's wasted. Compared to if you use a palette knife, a lot of the paint doesn't really stick too much to the knife itself. Or I guess like a palette spatula. This isn't really a knife, but it's often referred to as a palette knife. Let's see, I may want to grab my heat gun so that I can make this blue dry, so that I don't have to wait for it to dry. It's so far under there. Also, I'm in my 3rd trimester at the moment. So getting under my desk to plug this in is a lot of work. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now we can kind of start going in and adding more dimension. I was actually thinking I might lighten this base tone color and make the skin a little bit lighter. Okay, so we're gonna go in and kind of just try to lighten some of the areas. But I'm also kind of indirectly adding shadows because I'm gonna keep the areas where I feel like shadows would be darker. But I'm gonna try to add this highlight wherever the highlight would be hitting. I'm kind of trying to switch in between my original color and the highlight color to kind of be able to blend out the highlight color a little bit. Also, what's your favorite Pop-Tart flavor? I'm thinking about Pop-Tarts because I had one a little bit ago. It was a cookies and cream one, and I forgot how much I like the cookies and cream one. I've had a craving for Pop-Tarts the past couple of days, so I ordered some Pop-Tarts. Also, I hope this isn't looking horrible. Right now, it's making me a bit scared. I do feel like it's looking a bit better as it dries, but also maybe kind of patchy. But like, it's gonna kind of dry differently or like unevenly depending on like how thick or thin I applied the color in that spot. So we will see. I'm trying to just trust the process, so to speak. But I'm really bad at trusting the process sometimes. I'm kind of leaving in a neck shadow right here. So I'm gonna go in with all of the lighter color and then we'll kind of just leave an area for the shadow under the head. Also, like I said, it was so nice out today. Like, it was so warm and sunny. And I also got a great night's sleep last night, which I'm super thankful for. The past couple of nights I didn't get very good sleep. And I don't function super well on low amounts of sleep. So it was very nice getting some good sleep. I was very thankful. And so today has been a very productive day. I put the groceries away, got a different batch video done, and made some supper. I made chicken and potatoes. It was really yummy. I do also think I will do the line work maybe with a paint pen, because I don't feel confident enough to do it with a brush. So we might be using a paint pen, depending. Also, I do feel like the lightening of the skin turned out pretty good. And I feel like it overall looks more interesting just because it does have a blend of a few different colors. So how about we go to the flowers? So we'll take a little bit of this color and I'll kind of just apply it to the flowers. And then kind of go to this one and blend it out. Kind of like that. And I think we'll kind of just repeat that process for each petal. We use the dark color, the mid color, and then kind of the lightest color. She is definitely kind of giving Zelda vibes. I know I said that earlier, but like the more I'm kind of working on it, I'm like, yeah, she definitely does remind me of Zelda a little bit. But she's not supposed to be Zelda. Or I don't know, maybe she can be a Zelda. She's like a random Zelda in a different universe or a different timeline. I know it hasn't been like that long since we got Tears of the Kingdom and all that jazz. But like, I am looking forward to another Zelda. I've been having so much nostalgia for Ocarina of Time recently. And I really want to play it. But at the same time, it makes me nauseous because of the camera since it is a Nintendo 64 game. And so I can't really play it because I get dizzy, which makes me really sad. Sometimes I wonder if I would do better with the 3DS one. But at the same time, though, I don't really want to play on the super tiny screen. Honestly, I wish Nintendo would give us Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD on Switch. I want it so bad. I feel like I've talked about that multiple times, but like, come on, it'd be so easy. Especially Wind Waker. I have so much nostalgia for Wind Waker. I'm trying to keep the flowers fairly bright. I don't want them to get too dark. I still want to keep them like really bright and yellow. So I might need to go back and add some more of the yellow because they are looking quite orange at the moment. It is nice that you have the option with paint to use lighter colors on top of darker colors. Because with like a lot of mediums, you don't really have that as an option. Things like alcohol-based markers, watercolors. It's something you can kind of only do with more opaque mediums. Okay, I feel like I need to add some of these darker colors down in here because these ones would be more in shadow. It's kind of reactivating the green, but I kind of don't mind it. That is the tricky part about gouache, is that since it does reactivate with water, it can be hard to layer up because you will end up reactivating paint. So let's see. I think lastly for shading, I'm gonna darken some of the shadows for the skin and hair. So I'm mostly gonna be adding some shadows by the eyelids, as well as like around and under the hair. I don't know if I'm totally loving this color. I might need to go over it with some of the skin tone to make it a little bit softer. I hope this looks okay. I feel like I'm just making a mess of the skin. Oh no. We might just need to wait for it to dry because the colors can change a lot as they dry. Because sometimes you can keep trying to fix things when the paint is wet, but the hues will change quite a lot. So you're better off just like waiting for it to dry. Hello, so we are now switching to voiceover. At this point in the process, I decided to stop doing live commentary because it was starting to get late into the night and I needed to get the picture done. But also I knew that I would really need to focus for the line art, so I probably wouldn't be talking much. Like I said, I wasn't sure what I wanted to use for the line art. I figured I'd use paint pens, and I did try using those. However, they weren't working the greatest on the bumpy texture of the canvas. The only way I could get the paint to go into the texture was to press down pretty hard, which resulted in thick lines. So I switched to a super thin brush and decided to just paint the line art. At first I was very apprehensive to do this, however as I started painting and getting into the flow, it wasn't that bad. The line art is still on the thicker side, but I am using a lighter brown to hopefully help it feel less bold and more soft. Oh, and in a bit I do use different colors for some areas. Like around the flowers I use a deep reddish orange, and around the leaves I used a dark green. Something I really enjoyed about making this video and working on this art is that it made me feel like an artist again. And this may sound odd since like technically I'm always an artist, but sometimes I feel more like a YouTuber or a content creator than an artist. Everything has to be so planned out and structured, and I try my best to think about my audience and what I think the algorithm will like. And I'm not saying all of this is bad, it just makes me not feel like an artist sometimes, because it kind of weighs down on the creative process. But this video made me feel like I did when I was a teenager. If I wanted to use paint, I would just sit down and paint something. It wasn't super complicated or planned out, I just created something. And so this felt a lot like that. I wanted to paint something, so I did. It's as simple as that. And it may need to be something I try to do more often. Lastly, the background was feeling kind of plain, so I decided to add a bunch of flower petals. Where are the petals coming from, you ask? Well, I have no idea. I just felt like they would add some interest. But honestly, I don't know if I love them. I do feel like they are a good addition, but I'm not like crazy about them. But yeah. Anyways, here's the finished result. It's a simple piece, and a part of me feels like there are things I could have done better. But I had a lot of fun and really enjoyed the process. And I'm really glad I got to use gouache again. It's been so long since I last used it. If you'd like to see more live commentary videos like this one, please let me know down in the comments. Well, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!